I was told who Aubrey Plaza is actually playing in the Agatha show, and it's actually mind-blowingly cool. Unfortunately, it is also a major spoiler for the show, possibly the spoiler for the show. But I have decided to reveal this for two main reasons. Reason number one, it might not be real. Maybe it's fake. Maybe this is just something somebody heard. It's real crazy. We can talk about it, speculate about it, have fun. And number two, this actually made me more interested in the show. And I have told some other people about this, and they also are more interested in the show now. But please, for the love of bejeebus, understand these are major spoilers, potentially, if they're real. So only watch this if you're comfortable with those big potential spoilers, and don't go spreading this out all over the interwebs. Let's just kind of keep it real chill. Let's treat this like Fight Club. The first rule of this big leak from Agatha is that we don't talk about this big leak from Agatha. Okay, now I promise I'm not going to drag this on for too long, but I do think it would be useful to go over every single thread, every single theory that other people have had about Agatha over the past couple of weeks. Just kidding. Okay, look, I'll tell you. Ready? Spoilers. Here it is. She's Mistress Death. What the fuck? Yeah, man. According to this person that I talked to, Aubrey Plaza is actually playing Death or Mistress Death or Lady Death, however you want to say it. Death. The embodiment of like entropy and death in the universe. And this made me way more interested in the show for several like big reasons, right? When you think about what's going on in the MCU currently, the fact that Death, this cosmic entity, would show up in an Agatha show involving Wanda and potentially Wiccan or the Demiurge, it's crazy. So I want to talk about that. But first, I just want to tell you the truth, man. And the truth is, when I first heard this, I was like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. I was talking to comic book friends about this. I talked to Rob from Comics Explain about this, and we're both kind of like, what? Like, I don't know, man. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. I think all the other theories like Blackheart, Mephisto, Morgan Le Fay, all of those things make more sense. And maybe those characters are in the show as well. And Marvel has combined characters before. Marvel Cinematic Universe rarely does a one-to-one adaptation, right? So if this is their version of Mistress Death, there's other things going on. And perhaps Mistress Death will be connected to one of these other witches like Morgan Le Fay. But the thing is, Mistress Death or Lady Death hasn't really done a whole bunch of stuff in comics, right? She is the centerpiece of some interesting stories. So like in the Cancer verse, they kill Mistress Death so nobody can die, and that's how it becomes the Cancerverse. Probably most famously in comics, Mistress Death is there throughout Thanos' adventure, and Thanos actually does everything that he does in the comics, not to like balance the scales and kill half the people, but he's actually trying to do it to impress Mistress Death. In fact, the snap itself was more of like a whimsical Thanos decision that he just does as he has the powers of God to try to impress Mistress Death. And the person I spoke to about this did bring Thanos up. They didn't directly say that Thanos was coming back, but they sort of said, hey, maybe Thanos is coming back. And that implies some kind of a connection between maybe Mistress Death and what she's doing now and the Thanos that will come from the multiverse for the Multiversal saga. On a slight side note here, I still believe that King Thanos or a version of Thanos will absolutely be involved in Secret Wars or maybe the Battle World movies. But either way, her connection to Thanos is a huge freaking deal, and this was technically brought up by the person that told me this is who Aubrey Plaza is playing. Something else that's really important for Marvel fans to keep in mind is that we have seen Mistress Death in Phase 4. She is one of the statues in the Hall of Eternity that you see at the end of Thor Love and Thunder. And yeah, Thor Love and Thunder was a goobly glob mess of a movie. Really don't like what they did with that film, but Eternity is cool, even though he should be way cooler than like a wishing stone big statue poster looking motherfucker. But the concept of Eternity is cool. Eternity Hall is cool, and it was so weird that we got those 6 different cosmic entities in that scene, including Mistress Death. Like, we saw Eternity's statue there, we saw Infinity's statue there, we saw the statue of Death, we saw the Watcher, we saw the Living Tribunal, we saw Eon, and then we saw the One Above All. And although we don't know for sure, many of us believe that Eternity and perhaps the love girl that was like a daughter of Eternity and kind of like Gore's daughter too, she might play a very important role in the Multiversal saga, or at the very least eternity itself will play a massive role in maybe how Doctor Doom attains power or controls the multiverse. But now let's talk about the implications for Agatha, because this does make me way more interested in checking out the show. And it even recontextualizes the 2 episodes that we have seen at this point, because it seems like now Lady Death or Mistress Death knows about the Darkhold being destroyed in all the universes. She knows that Wanda's dead, implying that maybe Wanda is in the realm of death, being watched over by Lady Death. It recontextualizes her coming in to try to get Agatha. Death is literally coming for Agatha. And if you notice in that scene, Agatha says, "I can't kill you." And I believe Death says, "I can't kill you either, but you'd be surprised what you could endure without dying," or something like that. So a lot of these scenes take on new meaning if you think about Aubrey Plaza being the embodiment of death itself. She's like the Grim Reaper of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So one crazy thing that this could mean for the show is that all of the characters are dead. Technically speaking, this could all be in the realm of death. All of these characters could be dead, and Lady Death could have them all being brought together for some kind of a crazy adventure. I don't really know. But especially considering the rumors that that teen is Billy Soul, like the child that Wanda created. It's his soul in another person's body. So there's obviously not a body for Billy in the MCU. And the rumor was that they were going to kind of like Weekend at Bernie's this thing or something like that. Like there was going to be this dead body of a teen, and then the soul of Billy or Wiccan is put into that kid's body for now. And that's wild as shit, but it could be something that Death did. I think the other big implication here is that Mistress Death has Wanda, and maybe something that's happening is just her trying to see whether or not she should relinquish the soul of Wanda back onto the world, or perhaps Wanda's not even dead, and yet she's in the realm of death. I'm not really sure, but there's something really weird going on there, right? Death says that that witch is dead. Now, is that actually what's going on? Is she dead? And if she is dead, is Death itself an important character that will allow Wanda to come back? And that's crazy. Like, why would Death allow Wanda to be resurrected, right? That's pretty freaking weird. But perhaps it has to do with Billy. If Billy is Wiccan and he is the Demiurge, then Death itself could revere him. And maybe there's something happening where Death is actually trying to gain the favor of the Demiurge so that she can continue to be Death, and the whole cosmos isn't like rewritten and destroyed, because the Demiurge is that powerful. It also feels as though this could go in a big multiversal direction. I know some people don't like that sort of stuff, but if you have Mistress Death talking about how the Darkhold was destroyed in every universe, being one of the cosmic beings that was in the Hall of Eternity, having some crazy interest in Wanda, maybe the Demiurge, this just feels very multiversal. Again, not a lot of comic book precedence for something like this. Death doesn't really get involved that much. She is sort of a passive bystander, occasionally doing stuff. And I think recently in comics, she wanted to experience being mortal, and then Thanos figures out that it's Death trying to be mortal and literally turns her into an Infinity Stone, like turns her into the Black Stone of Death. It's pretty freaking crazy. But the lack of comic book precedence actually makes it really interesting for comic book fans to see what they're cooking with Death in the Agatha show. It's also worth noting that insiders are saying that Aubrey Plaza will have several more appearances in the MCU after this show. So if she really is Death, she's not just here for this show. She's going to be involved in things moving forward, perhaps more stuff with just Wanda, perhaps stuff dealing with the multiverse being collapsed and being destroyed, and God Emperor Doctor Doom and Secret Wars and all of that. I mean, all of this stuff is happening, and I've been really interested in if Agatha will connect to any of that kind of stuff. And the fact that Aubrey Plaza may well be playing Mistress Death opens up the door for all of those possibilities. I would certainly love to know what you think about this big reveal. First of all, let me know, does this make you more interested to watch the show? And also, as we now watch the show, I'm really interested to see if anything kind of sticks out and you're like, oh wow, maybe that's what's going on there. Oh my God, she actually could be Mistress Death. That's crazy, because again, guys, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know for sure. When I first heard this, I was like, that is outlandish. And I told the source, I was like, are you messing with me right now? Are you trying to get me in trouble? But the source assured me this is the thing, the big twist, a massive reveal. Aubrey Plaza playing Mistress Death. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome Indie Nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.